What happens when the roar of the crowd is replaced by an unnerving silence? We see them as heroes, titans of the modern age, their every move celebrated by millions. On the pitch, they are symbols of strength, resilience, and peak human performance. But beneath the jersey, beyond the floodlights, they are fathers, sons, and brothers. Their lives, like the game they play, are governed by time, a clock that can stop without warning. This is a journey into the moments the game forgot to script. It's about the players whose final match was not on the field, but against fate itself. From sudden on-pitch collapses that stunned the world to tragedies that unfolded far from the stadium, these are the stories that remind us of the fragility behind the fame. We will explore the lives cut tragically short, the promise unfulfilled, and the legacies that endure in the quiet echo of a final silent whistle. These are not just tales of loss, but powerful testaments to the human spirit and the indelible mark left behind by those who played the beautiful game until their very last breath. How do we remember a star after its light is extinguished? The sun beat down intensely over the Stade de Gerland. It was a perfect atmosphere for a FIFA Confederations Cup semi-final. On June 26, 2003, Cameroonian Marc-Vivien was a giant in midfield. His presence against Colombia was undeniable. The match was a blur of motion, a spectacle of athleticism under a bright blue sky. However, in the 72nd minute, shocking moments unfolded. Away from the play, Foe slowed. His powerful stride faltered before he collapsed onto the pristine green grass. There was no contact, no foul, just a sudden, inexplicable silence in the midst of the roaring crowd moments before. Medical teams rushed onto the field. Their urgency stood in stark contrast to the festive atmosphere just minutes earlier. The match, the world, everyone held their breath. They were watching a champion fight a silent battle for his life. For him, the final whistle had blown not in victory, but in a sudden silence. And that moment would continue to echo throughout the world of sport for many years to come. Manchester United's young squad, known as the Busby Babes, were more than just a team. They were the future of English football. After their victory in the European Cup in Belgrade, they were happily returning home. However, on February 6, 1958, their journey encountered an impassable obstacle on the snow-covered runway at Munich Riem Airport. An overcast sky blanketed the world in a uniform, cold gray. After 2 failed takeoff attempts, a sense of unease settled over the passengers. The slush on the runway had become an increasing danger. On the 3rd attempt, the plane failed to gain enough speed. It broke through a fence and crashed into a nearby residential area. The dreams of a golden generation were extinguished in an instant, scattered among the wreckage on a frozen German field. The silence that followed the impact was deep and sorrowful, broken only by the falling snow. A team that had once risen to the top was brought down not by an opponent, but by a cruel twist of fate and a winter storm. Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium was electric on the warm evening of August 25, 2007. Sevilla FC was playing its first La Liga match of the season, and the atmosphere was filled with anticipation. Antonio Puerta, a talented 22-year-old wing-back and a product of the club's academy, was seen as a local hero. In the 35th minute of the match, as he was running back toward his own goal, he stumbled and collapsed to the ground before the stunned eyes of the crowd. Teammates and medical staff immediately rushed to his side to intervene. In a moment that offered brief hope, Puerta miraculously regained consciousness and was able to walk off the pitch, acknowledging the concerned fans. However, this was only a short pause in a battle against an unseen opponent. In the dressing room, away from the stadium lights, the fight for his life resumed. The match continued outside, but inside, a tragedy was unfolding, a painful reminder that some battles are fought within. The FIFA World Cup was over for Colombia, but for defender Andres Escobar, the game had not yet ended. His own goal against the United States had led to his team's early elimination from the tournament. That unfortunate moment would haunt him for a long time. In his hometown of Medellin, a city struggling with its own dark realities, Escobar chose not to hide. He believed in facing the public and in the healing power of time. In the dark, Early hours of July 2, 1994, after leaving a nightclub, he was confronted in a parking lot. The argument was about his own goal. A moment that had taken place on a sunlit pitch in California came to a tragic end in a dim corner of his hometown. This incident was a chilling reminder of how the passion of football can be twisted into something unrecognizable. A man known as the Gentleman of Football lost his life not for a crime, but for a mistake in the game he loved. They were the ultimate underdogs, a small Brazilian club named Chapecoense, flying toward their destiny, the Copa Sudamericana final. Their journey was like a fairy tale, a testament to teamwork and determination. However, on the night of November 28, 2016, La Maya Flight 2933 never reached its destination. In the dark hours before dawn, amid heavy fog and rain, the aircraft crashed into the remote mountains of Colombia. The silence of the rugged landscape turned into a catastrophe that claimed nearly the entire team, the coaching staff, and the journalists documenting their historic rise. When the sun rose, it revealed a scene of profound loss. The dream had ended just miles from its culmination. In the aftermath of the tragedy, the world of football united not in competition, but in a shared and somber tribute to a team lost on the brink of glory.